Now, listen, as we've talked about on this show all week, the Sheldon Whitehouse controversy, and we mentioned on yesterday's show how Representative Congressman David Cicilline sprang to the defense of Sheldon Whitehouse's racial hypocrisy. Joining us now is Alan Waters, the declared candidate to challenge Congressman Cicilline. Alan Waters, welcome back to In the Dugout.
Mike, thanks for inviting me back. It's always a pleasure.
Now, I should, for the record, I must note that we've also invited Congressman Cicilline to appear. We contacted both his Pawtucket and his Washington, D.C. office, and they have not responded to our requests. So we try to play it fair here. And if one side chooses not to play ball, well, that's not our problem. We're going to play the game anyway. All right, so Alan Waters, just by way of background, you ran against Senator Jack Reed in the last election. Now you're
Yes, I
taking on
did.
Congressman Cicilline.
Yes.
What does it say? What is your view of Congressman Cicilline's just knee-jerk reaction defense of Senator Whitehouse? Was it justified? What are your comments?
I believe that a U.S. Representative David Cicilline should have stayed out of it. But what he did do by coming to the defense of Senator Sheldon Whitehouse is that he showed what team he's really playing on. Now, here we are, especially in these days and times, when we're talking about racial issues, uh, uh, the continuing string of equality, people seeking racial justice. Uh, those are long and ongoing discussions that won't be dissolved in this 5 minutes. But here we are with Mr. Whitehouse belonging to an exclusive club that has not allowed minorities, especially of African descent, in. And David Cicilline runs to his defense saying, well, he's always more or less been a champion of civil rights and what have you. But you know what?
So, oh, go
There's
ahead.
the talk, and there's the walk. And right now, Sheldon's not walking the walk as he should. And David, he's going right to the defense of the elite white power structure in the Democratic Party.
All right, so that's kind of where I want to go next. You mentioned team. Obviously, they're on Team Democrat.
Yes, they are.
Obviously, you've just said they're on Team White Elitist, basically. But as a congressman, you're going to be on Club Republican team, right?
Yes, I
Uh,
am.
what is the rule? What is your rule of thumb? Obviously, David Cicilline, in my view, is putting politics over principle. We know he's been a advocate for civil rights. We know he doesn't always walk the talk, but politics, it seems in this case, is trumping principle. What is your rule of thumb when the Republicans are doing something that you might disagree with, or an individual, or as a party? What is your message to the voters about whether you will be loyal to the team or loyal to the principle?
First of all, I work for my constituents and not for the Republican Party. Now, my constituents in the state of Rhode Island are very diverse. But if someone is not doing the right thing or behaving the wrong way or showing some sort of unfairness or prejudice or whatever, I'm not backing anyone but the people whom I represent. It's always about do the right thing because both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party have
But
their
does that
challenges.
right thing usually mean you come down on the side of principle or on the side of party loyalty?
I come down on the side of principle. I am a principled candidate. We need change. We need a regular Rhode Islander standing up and trying to do the right thing, not bought out by money or bought out by ideology, but just standing up for God, the Constitution, and the constituents for whom I will be representing as the next congressman.
All right, and that let's go a little bit to a related topic. I think it's an extension of this race discussion on race, this national discussion we're having, and that involves the education of minority students. Um, A lot of people say that education is the civil rights issue of our time. You have made it clear that increasing educational options for parents is important to you and will be part of your campaign. So first question are, where do you stand compared to your opponent, the incumbent Congressman Cicilline? Just quickly, where do you guys stand when it comes to charter schools and other forms of private school choice?
I believe in universal school choice in the state of Rhode Island. I am a student and a graduate of the Providence Public School System and also University of Rhode Island. But most importantly is I believe that no one should be trapped by their zip code or their economic circumstances, that money should follow the child, and that I support traditional public schools, private schools, charter schools, whatever fits the child and the family that will work best so that we can assure that help the child, help the family, and also help the taxpayer.
And what do you know
Because
about your opponent's position on those issues?
well, so far, because the Public Teachers Union is more control of democratic politics than ever, they would just be supporting traditional public school and not school choice. I support school choice. I think it's best for Rhode Islanders and especially the community which I grew up in and from which I'm speaking now. I'm talking to you from the West End of Providence. This is home and we need more and a better education.
There is, under at least President Trump, there were plans, I imagine if he had been reelected, there were plans to have federal scholarship funds go directly to parents so they could put that towards tuition towards a private school or public school or homeschool even of their home choice. If that were to come up again and you were congressman, would you support federal forms of school choice, federal funding or state funding or local funding? Where do you come down on that last question today?
Federal funding has to be accepted by the local community. Still, school is local and school and the federal government should not overrule the local on schools. But that said, if the local community and state want it, then I support it.
All right. Alan Waters, announced candidate for next year's election for U.S. congressional seat in District 1 in Rhode Island. Thanks for joining us on In the Dugout. And we're going to invite you and Congressman Cicilline to do an extended extra innings interview with us. And we'll look forward to having that discussion with you. Alan Waters, thank you.
Thank you, Mike Stenhouse.
Good day.